Good evening and welcome to tonight's webinar. My name is Pete Stolzers. I am the founder of One Option. For recording purposes, I'd like to state that it is December 17th, Wednesday evening. For those of you who might be watching this recording, I urge you to go back and take a look at the stocks that we highlight tonight and see how they've done since the webinar was held. I think you're going to be impressed with what you see happening with these stocks, so much so that you're going to want to join us. So we will be taking a look at a lot of different stocks. In particular, we're going to be taking a look at the One Option system. For 85% of the stocks in our database, we have beaten a buy and hold strategy since inception in 2013. That might not sound that impressive, but the market has been in a huge rally. So our toughest comparison to buy and hold is going to be when the market is doing that, because buy and hold has worked very, very well. So when the market does finally roll over, we're going to trounce buy and hold because our system does go short. So tonight we'll be taking a look at symbol groups that are offered through One Option. We'll also be taking a look at the scanner, trying to identify some day trading opportunities. I'll look for some longer term plays as well. And then I'm going to ask you for stocks that you follow, and we'll be able to see how the system has performed for those stocks and what the current signal is. I'm going to find you at least 4 new trades that are setting up right now. Before I do that, I always like to start with my market analysis. So we see that we have this giant trough here that we went through in October. We breached the 100-day moving average. We even breached the 200-day moving average. We had this capitulation low right in here that was marked by very, very heavy volume. We had the nice rally back, and then you can see the volume just absolutely come to a grinding halt as we were hitting this peak. Well, sure enough, the market started to roll over and we saw some pretty heavy selling pressure. Now we did bounce off of the 100-day moving average yesterday, and today we rallied back above it and we closed near the high of the day on strong volume. Could this be the capitulation low? It could be. I didn't want to believe it throughout the course of the day, but I think that given that the news is going to dry up next week, the fact that the Fed kept the phrase considerable time in their statement, it's good news. Now we do have credit issues looming with Russia right now. Brazil is not far behind them. The flash PMIs in China did not impress. They came in at 49.5 and 50.2 as expected. Personally, I've been telling you that I think China is the key to a year-end rally, and their conditions are a little bit soft right now. The PBOC eased a month ago, and I suspected that trouble might be looming, and that's why they eased. So we've got a nice little bounce here. We've got the 100-day moving average that we can lean on. I want to see how the market opens tomorrow. If it continues to grind higher, then I think we can safely start to sell some January out of the money put credit spreads. If the market starts to falter a little bit tomorrow and it starts to give back some of these gains, we'll probably come back and test that 100-day moving average maybe Thursday and Friday. We do have option expiration, so we can expect added volatility. And if we come back to that level and it holds, then I would feel much more confident selling out of the money, put credit spreads in January on strong stocks. Right now, option implied volatilities have been increasing, so that's an excellent strategy to use. Heading into 2015, some of these issues have to be resolved. We've got lower oil prices causing credit concerns. Normally, that wouldn't be an issue. But given the house of cards that's been built over the course of the last 6 years, the ECB, Bank of Japan, PBOC, Russia, Brazil, All it's going to take is a fringe country to fail, and that could have a cascading effect. What's unique about Russia is that they don't have any friends. It's not like the EU where they can bail each other out, or the US, which is very willing to lend money to the EU or ECB. Russia's out on an island by itself. It certainly doesn't have China as an ally or any of the other major developed countries. And in fact, they've alienated everyone with their recent invasion of the Ukraine. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out for them. So I'm overall wanting to see a little bit of a retest here. If we're back off to the races, I have a little bit of a hard time embracing that kind of rally into year end, especially as the volume starts to drop off. So I'm not going to be buying many calls. I'm going to be more interested in selling put premium now that it's inflated. So we get Christmas bisecting the week next week. Trading volumes are going to come to a screeching halt. After Christmas, again, very, very light year-end type of volume. Even a small bid in that light volume environment can push the market higher and higher. That's why I don't like trading against year-end rallies. Hedge funds, asset managers, they all get paid based on performance, and the higher they can push the market into year-end, the bigger the bonus checks. So they do have an incentive for doing this. It's an anomaly, but I think we can explain it just through that. People like to see the market rally into year end. So let's hope for a little bit of a retest. If we don't get one, I'll start selling some put spreads, but I'm going to keep my distance from the action and take advantage of time decay in a very quiet market over the next couple of weeks or so. For those of you who are platform subscribers, you can get my market comments every day. They are posted before the open. So you know from my comments over the course of the last few days that I have been trading from the short side primarily to hedge out of the money put credit spreads that I'd sold. And we'll go back to the chart. I was selling out of the money December put credit spreads in here. Market rallied up, put spreads were in great shape, and then doink, doink, market started to sell off. Option implied volatilities popped up. I didn't want to buy back all of my put spreads because the premiums were starting to get elevated, and I still felt that those put spreads would expire worthless. So the way that I hedged the position was to short the S&P futures on an intraday basis, and I gave you all of the levels. So I was able to make money on my hedges, and most of my put spreads ended up making money too. So I ended up pretty well on the whole deal. I did mention today that if the market stayed below this 100-day moving average, I would be getting short. If it rallied above the 100-day moving average, I would cover my shorts and stay on the sidelines. So that's exactly what I did. The comment today from Janet Yellen, they pretty much said that you should, for all intents and purposes, consider that that phrase has been removed. And in her testimony afterwards, she said that the Fed will not be raising rates for a couple of months. 2 months. The timeline is May. I construed that to be very bearish. And on an intraday basis, the market did pull back to where it was before the FOMC meeting started, and then it gradually started to grind higher. I didn't see that as a particularly strong statement. 2 months is, I mean, you could be seeing higher rates already in March. I think everyone was expecting the Fed to have more accommodative statements. So let's take a look at the scanner, and let's see if we can find some trades. And then I'm going to take a look at what some of our different symbol groups are doing. And just so that you know what you're looking at here, when you see a green arrow on the chart, that's where the system has gone long. If you see a green arrow and then it's followed by a red arrow, means we were long here, we exited the long here, and we pivoted into a short position. So the system likes to always have a trade on, and it goes normally right from long to short. And so we're short here, and you get a green arrow, so we get out of our short and we go long here. Okay. If you see a blue arrow, that's a stop. So the system got short here, stopped us out the next day, got short here. It's been a nice trade for us so far, but we're still making money on the trade, but not by much after today's 40-point S&P rally. You'll also notice in the upper left-hand corner that you can see the number of trades, you can see the dollar gain, and you can see the percentage gain for the system and the percentage gain for buy and hold. Now you'll see this for all the different stocks when we bring them up as well. I am using the full-blown one option subscription. It's called 3,000 Symbols, and I'm using the end of day version for the platform to view all of this. When you have this subscription, it comes with some really nice added features that I'll be pointing out. For those of you who want a very concentrated number of symbols that you look at, I do have symbol groups on my website. You do not have to have the platform. You can get all the information you need from the website. Why don't I take a look at that right now, and I'll give you an example. This is called ETF Trader, and for each product, when you hover over, you'll see in this header exactly what's included. ETF Trader trades QQQ, SPY, GLD, and TLT. So you have tech stocks, S&P 500, gold, and bonds. Very nice diversified portfolio. Plus, these are some of the most liquid options in the world. The system has been killing it on these symbols. This is normally a $300 subscription. Through tomorrow on the open, so tonight after the presentation, if you're interested, sign up. This is a good deal. I've knocked $50 off of the price tonight only, and I'll put it back up to $300 before the open tomorrow. You can see this is what you would see if you logged in. You'd see every open position that we have on the website. Again, you don't need to have the platform. You can see the entry price, you can see the P&L, and you can also see the exits that we've had this month. And you can also go in and you can enter symbols in the chart. When you're logged in, you can see all the entry and exit signals. You can also move the chart back and forth so it's interactive. You can get all the information you need off of the website. Now, if you're not logged in and you're looking for a product, you will not see the last 30 days of activity for obvious reasons. You can also go into the account settings area, and you can click on text alerts, and you can configure your email and your cell phone so that text alerts and email alerts are sent when there's a new trade. Finally, I want to mention that all of the trades come out at 9:30 Eastern Time, 1 hour after the open, so you know exactly when every single entry and exit is going to take place. There's also a mobile application that you can download. And there's an Android and a iPhone version. So many different ways for you to get the information. Mobile app, text alert, email alert, website, and then ultimately the platform that I'll be using tonight. I'm going to point out one more subscription. If you're a day trader or you have a nice investment account that you're trading, or you're an active investor options trader, the yearly subscription is going to include everything that we're looking at tonight. The platform, the scanner, everything. This is normally a $3,500 per year subscription. It's $3,000 tonight. I'm going to raise the price back up tomorrow on the open. If you want to do it for quarterly, this is normally $1,200. Right now it's $1,000 per quarter. So you have to have a fairly sizable account to justify it, But when you start taking a look at the trading opportunities tonight, I think you're going to realize that you're going to find those opportunities very, very quickly. And when you see how well the system has performed on these stocks, you're going to be able to get in and out of the positions with confidence. So ETF trader, if you're looking for less trades, and then the 3,000 symbol yearly or quarterly if you're an active trader. So let's get on with it. I'm going to go into the scanner. And by the way, this is the end of day version. There is a real-time version for those of you who have interactive brokers accounts. And the main difference is that you would see all of the daily 1-minute bar, 5-minute bar, 15, 30-minute bar charts that you can pull up, and all the quotes, would be streaming. So when we go into the scanner, there are categories like movers that everyone has access to. And so right now you can see the prior day gainers, stocks that closed on their high yesterday. This is actually a very good search because most of these stocks have a tendency to continue the next day. Close on the high, continue. Probably see an awful lot of that today. Now you'll also notice that the arrows appear here because I have the full-blown subscription. That's actually a very, very nice breakout through horizontal resistance. And this is the type of pattern that we're going to be looking for. Given that we had a big rally today, we might have had the capitulation low in. We have seasonal strength working in our favor. We're going to be looking primarily for long opportunities. I will find 1 or 2 shorts for you as well. Pre-open gainer. Again, everybody has access to this if they have the platform. 1 hour before the open, we start searching for stocks that are going to be moving. And so you're able to come in, get the news, figure out what's happening with the underlying. If you have a position in it, you might want to map out your game plan. Or if you're looking to get in, you might want to find out what's driving the stock. So Taser would be a good example. You know that it's going to be moving higher and you see that it's going to be moving through a horizontal resistance area, might be something that you want to take a look at. Gainers, very generic search. It just shows us the largest dollar gainers for the day. And right now, we're going to just start here. And all I'm going to do is click on some of these symbols. I'm going to cheat a little bit because I know where the option liquidity is based on the stock. I can tell you that some of these are not going to have very liquid options. As we go through, keep looking for this here, how we've done versus buy and hold. This gauge right in the middle here tells us how liquid the options are. Okay, there are a number of different metrics that I use for that, but it's a good gauge. If you see anything above, say, a -2 to a +2, it's going to be okay to get a 10 lot off. Anything above +2, you're looking easily get, 30, 40 contracts off. Anything above 4 to 10, I mean, it's just going to be super liquid. Very, very good option liquidity. So, Whirlpool. I don't like it because what I'm going to be looking for is a nice uptrend, a horizontal consolidation, and I'd also like to see a stock that has held up well relative to the SPY and is just starting to break through horizontal resistance. Okay, that's what we're looking for. I don't want something that happened days ago. This would have been very, very nice. I'd have been all over that. So you come in, you see that you got a buy signal here, and right here, the stock is breaking through that consolidation. Boom, you're in on it. This Whirlpool has been pulling back too much in here, and all of a sudden we have a 14-point rally in a day. I can't buy that breakout. There's obviously news on it. I mean, it made such a huge move today. So we're not going to touch that. PXD. This would be a classic reversal where the stock has been selling off and now you're getting a rally. I don't mind these formations too much. but I'd like to see more of a base. This is an oil producer, so there's a good chance that this is a short covering rally. It might still have some room to go, but ultimately, I don't want to be buying something that is still in a longer term downtrend unless it's really put in a solid base. Once it fills in this gap, though, as a day trader, you could easily get on board that move. So lots of reversals in here. A lot of oil stocks that we're taking a look at here. This is a little bit too choppy for my taste, okay? I'd also like to see something that once it gets on a trend, it tends to move higher. This is the type of formation that we're looking for. See how once the stock starts to sell off, you get these very nice, tight trading patterns. This is a beautiful breakout in here. You get the gap higher here with a buy signal. Yes, you'd be all over that. Good option liquidity. And there's your breakout right there. Now this stock had news on it because credit card companies will be able to process transactions in Cuba. This is Royal Caribbean Royal Caribbean Cruises. If they open up Cuba, this company will do very, very well. This is material news. This could really fuel the stock for a while. So would I jump on it gangbusters tomorrow on the open? Probably not, but I would be interested in getting in somewhere right around that 79.30 level, or if the stock were able to pull back to even $80, that prior intraday high, I'd be a pretty willing buyer right in there. I might also consider selling some out of the money put credit spreads. So they use an awful lot of fuel. Fuel costs are going down. People are not spending as much on gasoline, so they'll be spending more money in restaurants, vacations. This is not a bad play. I'm going to use, and this might as well be our first play of the day because the option liquidity is good. So I don't want to jump on this trade. I don't want to follow something that's up that much. But let's go into the option pricing and let's take a look and see what we can find out in January for an $80 put and see if there's any kind of premium that we can sell in there. And here we can see that the bid on the $80 puts was about 222, and on the 75 puts we've got 103. So we could go in and do this credit spread right here just off the screen for $1.20. I like it. So we are risking 380 to make $1.20, but we have the stock out of the money and it's looking like it wants to grind higher. It's up to about $82 or so. And I think you could probably get $1.25 for that. Watch the stock, see how it opens, and here's your game plan. You sell that put spread, there's your stop right there is at $80. So when it goes in the money, stock, let's say it pulls back below $80, this breakout will have failed. This is support now. Stock should hold up very, very well there. I think the stock's going to continue to grind higher into year end. I think that Cuba is very good news today, and the stock has held up very, very well during the market sell-off. So there's your first trade. You don't even have to hang on to that one well into January if you don't want to either, but the next 2 weeks will be very favorable. So I'm continuing to look down here, APC, these are all oil stocks until we get to Buffalo Wild Wings. Love it. Here's what I would hope on Buffalo Wild Wings. I'd hope for a little bit better option liquidity. I would also hope that this buy arrow, which talk about a nice entry point here, I wish that buy arrow were a little bit closer up in here, even in the last week or so, but that's still good. We're still on that buy, and there's our breakout through horizontal resistance. Love it. Great looking trade. And there's your stop is right around that 170, let's call it 170 level. Okay, the stock closed at 172, right around that 170 level. I like this stock into year end. Again, I just mentioned that consumer discretionary is going to see better action now that oil prices, gasoline prices are down. You've got football playoffs coming. You've got basketball in high gear. You've got hockey. This is when Buffalo Wild Wings does really well. People are looking for something to do on the weekend. They go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch some games. So absolutely love the stock into year end. Again, here, I would probably be selling an out of the money put credit spread, and I would be looking to sell a 70-65 put credit spread, and you might even be able to go out in January to the 165-160 put credit spread. Take a look at it. Liquidity is going to be an issue for us, so keep that in mind. This would be one that you'd have to work the order a little bit. So we're going to see that the 170s are 4 bid offered at 280. And we can go out to the 165, 160. You can see that's a 30-cent wide bid-ask spread. That's a 35-cent wide bid-ask spread. So you've got to be able to get something done in between these bid-ask spreads. If you can get, let's say, 260, sell these for 260, and buy these for 160, that's a $1 credit on the 165, 160 put credit spread, Buffalo Wild Wings. And that 160 5 strike will put you right below that horizontal support level right there. There's 165. So you got plenty of support to lean on. But I think this stock's going to go higher. This is just a safer way to play it because you've got that nice little breakout right there. If you wanted to play it really safe and that breakout fails, you could buy back your put credit spread right away. Even if a week elapses, you're going to make money on that trade just because of time decay. So there's 2 trades. This is already a very generic search right here. This is an interesting stock. SLXP, I know they're a pharmaceutical company. They dropped after bad earnings. You can see the system's done really well with it, up 90% versus up 35% for buy and hold. You've got this nice breakout here through horizontal resistance, and it's still got plenty of room to run before it fills in that gap. So I'm a day trader. I look for this stuff all the time. I saw it yesterday, and I liked it again today when I saw it. So that's an easy play. You could buy options on this. The option liquidity is not fantastic, but yeah, as far as a bottoming process, it's been very consistent. You can see there's a nice feature on the platform. I'm just going to put up SLXP, and I'm going to overlay SPY so that we can see. There you can see the market falling apart and the stock actually moving higher. That's the type of relative strength that you would want to see right now. Here's something else I'm going to do. When I highlight a stock, I'm going to click this little plus sign, and I'll show you why later. So we had that, we had Buffalo Wild Wings, and we had one other that there we go, RCL. So we'll just make a little list here. And so now we're going to look for gap up today. I'm just going to visually scan because there are lots of good stocks in here. I'm sure of it, but I'm just looking for that option liquidity. I'm also going to take off the SPY here. And I don't see anything in here that I'm real interested in from a liquidity standpoint. So now we're going to take a look at 5-day high. If I weren't explaining this to you, it takes me about 5 minutes to zip through. There's a nice chart. I'm going to just use one of our auto trend line here. There's a 60-day trend line. The system automatically draws that for us. Nice horizontal breakout. You see lots of great strength right in here, even when the market was selling off. and the stock is starting to break through horizontal resistance. The A here means that that was earnings after the close. If it were a B, that would mean that they announced that day before the open. So we've got our horizontal breakout. That's at 128.23. So maybe you can even go down to the 125 strike. I love this all day long. I do happen to know because I looked at that earnings report when it came out. Fantastic earnings. I think revenues were up something like 20%. This is a health and beauty care company. They have beauty salons throughout the country. And this time of year, people are spending money in beauty salons. So let's take a look at the options. I know they tend to be somewhat illiquid. We're right at that 130 strike. So take a look at those Jans, see where they're at. 480 bid offered at 530, pretty wide. And here you can see the same on the put side, 40 cents there, 25 cents here. If you went out to the 125, 120 put credit spread, you'd have to be able to buy these for 130. Maybe if you could do 120 here and 120 there and get $1 or maybe 95 cents for that spread, the 125, 120, that I think is an attractive trade. And you can see the stock is kind of choppy in here. So it's not go, go, go gangbusters. It's kind of back and forth. I think you'd have a chance to get a trade like that off. Put a little plus mark by that. And I'm going to continue to scan down, and then we'll be done with these because there are some really nice pre-earnings searches, post-earnings, but we're out of earnings season right now, so we're not even gonna tell you about that feature. But during earnings season, that is super, super nice. That's an interesting stock. Very poor liquidity, so I would buy that stock. RKT, the paper and cardboard company. Comes in a huge drop from here, comes in, forms a base, breaks out through horizontal resistance, nothing going on. Now we're breaking out again. This could have a nice little head of steam. So nothing we're going to highlight tonight because the option liquidity is not there. Now we're going to go into the proprietary searches that I offer for people that either have all the symbols for a subscription or that subscribe to the scanner. This is the cornerstone to a lot of my research. And what's nice about this is that not only do these stocks meet my search criteria, they also are on buy signals if they're in the bullish list. Now we're looking for reversals, and the reversal would be just like this, where the stock has been in a downtrend and now we're reversing to the upside. And if I'm day trading and I come in and I start running my scans, I mean, the stock opened here and look what it did all day. So if I come in, I see the recent buy signal right there. I see us get through that horizontal resistance level, and by all means, I see it get through that and fill in the gap. I could buy that very, very easily right there, and I know my stop is at 36.78. So my game plan is already built for me, especially when I start to see it rally. I put a 36.78 limit in there on a buy stop. Stock rallies above it, give myself a little cushion, and then put my stop in below it. So if it pulls back, I'll get stopped out. If it keeps going, I'm a happy camper. And that stock rallied an awful, let's see, about $2 off of that level. So these are reversals. I'm not as excited about reversals right now. We're going to see a lot of oil stocks like CRR. Nice base, nice entry. These could be just little short covering bounces. What I'd much rather look at is continuation trades on the bullish side. Now that'll be a stock that's been going higher, 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 maybe has consolidated while the market's pulling back and now is breaking out through horizontal resistance. So I'll flip through a few of these just to see what I can find, but I'm not overly excited about this search right now because this is all bottom fishing. And I'm very quickly just going through. This is actually a nice trade right in here. Very poor liquidity though. This is Select Comfort. They make beds. Obviously do a lot of their sales around the Christmas season. I love that breakout. Recent buy signal right in here. Here's the other thing that we've got working in our favor is we've got that big volume right here. So this is purely a stock play. You can't touch these options. They're just not liquid enough. I don't know. I don't know what GIMO is. I can look at our stock expert. They develop they monitor networking traffic. This is just gorgeous. I mentioned earlier during the presentation that so many people are hung up on options. They won't even look at a stock. If it doesn't have liquid options, I'm not even going to touch it. There are so many great stock trades out there. I urge you, trade stock. Don't worry about the options. In this case here, you got a $14 stock. Once you get this nice run up right in here, and you get your buy signal and your breakout, from $15, it's gone up to $17. If you did 1,000 shares of that, you don't have to put up but half of the price of the stock. You're up 2 grand in a week. Everybody can use 2 grand. And that's when the market's falling apart. This stock has fantastic relative strength. This stock's going to continue to go higher. I'm not going to put it on our list because I think it's run away from us a little bit. The train's left the station. Keep an eye on GIMO. Got awful lot of stocks. This is what's called, I look at tail end price movement. So we had the reversal. In this case, we're looking at 10-day highs. We're looking at stocks that gapped up, stocks that gapped up 2 days ago, 3 days ago, opened on the low, closing on the high. Stocks that have been in a trend day after day after day, so consecutive higher closes. Those are the tail end price movements that I'm looking for, and all of these also happen to have buy signals. So lots of candidates here. Well, guess what most of the stocks are? They open on the low, closed on the high. They're almost all energy stocks. In my market comments today, and actually all week, I've been mentioning that the one bullish influence on the market is the fact that energy stocks have been pummeled so much that their rate of descent was slowing down, and most of them were forming a base. So they were not going to have the same negative impact on the market that they've had over the course of the last 2-3 weeks. And I'm just looking down CRM. We'll take a look at that. Nothing too interesting there. This could be nice. This is one that I want you to keep an eye on. It's not there yet, but it could be there very quickly. This is wage. $61 is your target level. Here's why I like it. Nice strong uptrend, okay? We get earnings with a huge spike up, okay? So the stock has been able to maintain that breakout right there, but it does come back, tests the breakout, holds up well during a market sell-off, and now the first sign that the market's starting to recover, it's starting to rally. Okay, so we had our buy signal way back in here not too long ago. I like this a lot. There's your issue. Not great option liquidity. But as far as a stock trade, I like it a lot. And I'm not seeing anything. I don't want to waste any more time in here because these are all reversals. I want continuation trades. I want stocks that are moving higher and they're just continuing to push higher. So take a look at. So there's a continuation. Just keeps pushing higher. A breakout. So just little technical analysis here. I don't like stocks like this. It's herky jerky, choppy all over the place. Not for me. I want nice tight formations. That spike in volume is interesting though. It came on earnings. So I'm not as interested. I'd rather see a spike like that non-earnings related. So here we go. This is really nice in here. Don't know the company, $24 stock, you get your horizontal breakout, and then it's off to the races, and now it's continuing to push higher. But again, no options. We're going to keep on moving here. We'll find some. QLogic. This used to have really good options. Boy, I don't know what happened. Now it's a $10 stock, so $12 stock. This is a great stock play. So get your pen out and mark this one down. QLogic looks fantastic. Recently had a buy signal here. Breaks out, gaps up today, closes on the high. This is just starting out. And if I were day trading today, I'd have been all over this. I didn't see this today. I didn't actually day trade much today at all. I had too many things hitting me from all angles, including the FOMC meeting. But if I were day trading and came across this, I'd be all over that. That is just beautiful. $12 stock rallied about $1 today. That is a nice return. Okay, here we go. These are stocks that actually broke out yesterday and are continuing to move higher today. So we didn't have to look far at all. These are a couple of our top plays right here. And we'll take a look at, I'm just scanning through the list to see what I might possibly find in here that looks attractive before I just start clicking around. And boy, my system is temporarily frozen up. There we go. Usually a function of GoToWebinar. If by chance tonight's webinar has technical issues, please know that I will be right back on. It might take me 5 minutes to recover, but please stay with the webinar because I will be back with you. WCG, very, very nice. Not great option liquidity, but a very, very strong chart pattern. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You get your rally up, you get your horizontal consolidation in here. It holds the support level in a weak market, and now you're breaking out to a new high. WCG, awesome. Be all over it. And those are the types of, I'm going to go back to this. This is what I want right now. I mean, you could go bottom fishing all day long, but I'd rather pick a stock that's been moving higher, higher, higher and has held up well in a weak market. And now that the market's starting to bottom out, it's just going to go gangbusters. That's the type of momentum that I would rather trade. The reason for that is that on some of these bottom fishing stocks, like the energy sector, you might get a bounce for a day or two or three, and then you might see more people selling into that rally, and it's just a temporary dead cat bounce. So you get all excited because you start getting some follow through buying in day 2 and 3. You come in and turn your computer on in day 4 and you find out that oil's down $3 again and the bottom's falling out of those stocks, and you're left holding the bag. Much rather be in something that's already held up well and by all means just wants to move higher and higher and higher. Gets a market tailwind and it's gone. Some nice little biotech stocks that you'll see in here too. I highlighted one a couple of weeks ago. I know it started with a B. I still have no idea I can't remember the symbol, but it was up $30. And it was coming up on all of our searches. QLogic, I've got to add that to the plus sign here. See if I can find any other nice little stocks. GMed, that looks nice. You're getting that little breakout right in here. Stock's been inching its way higher. Again, no option liquidity. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look and see if I can find a couple of bearish trades. This is one I wanted to add because we'll do a quick recap. And here's why I've been hitting the plus sign. When you do that, there's a list. It's called tag. And so it saves every stock that we've looked at. And I do this when I'm flipping for charts and I'm trying to find stocks that I want to remember. And then now I can very easily go back and reference them. So we got Buffalo Wild Wings, GIMO, QLogic, RCL, SLXP, Alta. So now let's go in and see what we got on the bearish side. Probably not a whole lot of losers today. FedEx came out with earnings. I love the number. I thought they did really well. But the stock had been holding its own for a long time. The expectations were high. It gapped down. I think this stock's going to recover and probably find support pretty quickly. Letter Z, Zillow. It's been on our list. Short right there. Breakdown through horizontal support. Stock is down in an up market. Not good. Good option liquidity. This would be a call credit spread candidate. And I would go right here at the 120 strike, probably 120, 125. And you can see what you can get for that in January. 120, 125. 280 and 145. So actually it's 250, 175. You could get $1 for that. That's a pretty wide bid-ask spread. So the 120, 125 call credit spread looks good to me. If the stock rallies and takes out that horizontal resistance, you know that your game plan is to buy that spread back. But I think the stock's going to continue to drift lower. So we'll take a look at, we'll go into the proprietary searches here. Win. Nasty. Nasty, nasty. Look at that short right there. We really haven't taken a look at too many of the signals along the way. I've been focusing more on finding you some trades. So I haven't really looked at the relative performance. Look at that short. At 188, the system picked a short when nothing was going on with the stock. I mean, it just said, yeah, this looks like a good short. And look at, here we are at 140. Do you know how much money you'd make on those puts? By the way, can't say that I love it as a short right now today because of how far it's come down. It's definitely getting into oversold territory, but it couldn't even bounce today with a 40-point S&P rally. So this stock has more downside to go. So MGM, we've got our horizontal breakdown at $20 and the stock continuing to slide. You can see very, very, very heavy volume today. Could be getting close to a little bit of a capitulation low with maybe a bounce, but certainly shortable right at that $20 level if you do get a little bit of a dead cat bounce. The stock looks, it's in bad shape. LVS, same deal there, right around the $55 level. I like the short a little bit better, but you can see we picked up on that short. Done well relative to buy and hold. Cleveland Cliffs, very nice short, horizontal breakdown. I don't short $6 stocks. So keep taking a look. I think I'm not going to focus too much on the bearish side, and we're not going to have a whole lot to look at. You'll notice that as I go through these searches, there's not much to look at. Well, that's by design. I mean, there are certain criteria that these searches, that the stock has to conform to. So I don't want to be looking at shorting stocks when we should be focusing on the bullish side of the market. So the system is naturally selective that way anyway. When we should be focusing on longs, we're going to see more of those trades. We should be focusing on shorts, we're going to see more of those. So let's take a look at the systems, and I'm going to ask you for some of your favorite stocks, and then we'll do a Q&A. So if you, let me show you a couple features that are really nice for the full-blown subscription. You can come into the systems, you can create your own watch list, and when you do that, you name it, whatever, let's say volatile stocks or my favorites, whatever you name it, and then you go through and pick your symbols that you'd like to have, click OK, and then you'll see it in the drop down the next time you come on. So I have a number of symbol lists that I've created, such as new entry long. And so these will all be stocks that have just triggered a long entry signal today. And so, excuse me, you can go through and very quickly, this is nice, again, for those of you who are day traders to go in and take a look at some of these. You'll see two different types of patterns for the most part. You're either going to see breakouts on continuation moves, or you're going to see bottom fishing reversals. Both of them work well in this environment. This is, if you're a day trader and you trade stock, this is where you spend your time. You'll also see the new entry on the short side. Not going to have as many of these stocks today as on the long side. But you can see some of those new short entries actually did quite well, even though the market was up big. Top 50. This is a list of the best performers, system versus buy and hold. And when you look at these tables, you'll notice that the gold background would signify that there's been a change today. So this is all new entries. These are all overnight positions with this white background. And the blue background are stocks that we have exited. So color coding, very easy to use. This will take place an hour after the open. You'll see entries, overnights, and exits. And you can see we've done JDST was a short today. That was a beautiful short. Take a look at some of these. Whiting Petroleum, short there. Nice short there. And this is not, you'll look at the performance here. We're up 184% versus 27%. Look at that short. I mean, I look at this stuff and I start salivating. I hope you're getting excited about it too. GTAT, that was just a phenomenal short. This company was making crystals for Apple, and the system happened to pick up that short, and the bottom fell out from $12 down to 44 cents. So yes, it will pick up an awful lot of these. So that's a nice list to look at. The Dow is something that I put up for users. I think it's a really nice resource. You know that every single one of these stocks is going to have good option liquidity. So we went long Verizon today. That's a nice little bottom fishing stock right there. Coca-Cola, which Coke has done very well with the system, 25% versus 3%. And Pfizer, kind of like this Pfizer trade here. Stock has been in a nice uptrend, pulls back with the market. It tests that breakout at 30.76 and now rallies off of it. And that's your stop point right there. So very, very easy trade to manage. Pharmaceutical and healthcare stocks tend to do well into year end. Incredible option liquidity. So you can add Pfizer to the list. Here are some of the shorts that we've had. You can see that even with the huge rally today, system's been short a lot of these stocks, but it didn't get short 2-3 days ago. It had been getting short these stocks a week or two ago, like Caterpillar, beautiful short, Boeing. So Caterpillar were up about 13% versus 3% for buy and hold. Boeing, 36% versus minus 8%. Look at that short right in there. Very liquid options. Goldman Sachs, 27% versus 8%. Something's up here. There's got to be a bad data point in there. That's why the chart's a little funky. Johnson & Johnson, really nice short. So the Dow list is also part of the full subscription. Now there are many smaller symbol groups that are offered on the website, and we'll take a look at what some of those are doing. So you can see this is agricultural complex systems, done very well on the ags. It does well on everything. I'm telling you, it does well on stocks. It does well on sector ETFs. It does well on international ETFs. It does well on the indices. It does well on TLT, which is bonds. It's pretty incredible. There's TLT. Look at that entry point right there. Look at that long. We get short for 2 days, pick up that long right there, get that huge spike up in here, and we short it there, go long here, gets short and long again, so a little bit of choppiness in here, but look at that long we've been in. These are really liquid options, folks. I mean, you buy these options in here, this is probably about a 300, at least a 200% winner, at least. It's been short oil from here. Silver, up 21% versus minus 18% for buy and hold. Gold, up 27% versus minus 1%. This is the commodity symbol group. Currently, we're long gold, but probably getting close to a stop right here. ETF Trader has some of these same symbols. TLT we've already looked at. SPY, nice short. Covered that short and went long here. Short for only a couple of days and caught that beautiful move. Up in here, daily comments, I was telling everybody, get out, please take your profits. This was a 300% win right here if you traded options that were 1 month out at the money. Just gorgeous stuff. So yes, recently we went short. We're still making money on that trade. QQQ. Look at that long. Again, I was telling everybody to get out up in here, take your profits. Just recently went short and we locked it in. This is at least a 300% winner in here. You had to go out to, you had to either roll the position because it lasted for 2 months, or if you bought options that were 2 months out, you did very, very well. This subscription right here, folks, TLT, SPY, QQQ, GLD, you can get this tonight for $250. It's $50 off. It's a great deal. I'll keep it up until the open tomorrow. High flyers. This system, this symbol group, excuse me, you can look at the symbols here. Tesla, Netflix, Las Vegas Sands, UA, Under Armour. There are other symbols too. They just aren't currently on a trade. So they were either stopped out or they're waiting for a new signal. Tesla, look at that short. Up $38 on that trade. Netflix has been unbelievably good for the system. And this is one I trade a lot. Look at that long. That was about a $50 rally. Then we get short. That was about a $40 short. The system always gets out before earnings. We were short. Boy, that would have been a nice one to hang on to. Then we get long in here. And with just a little bit of trade management, this is about a $30 rally. And I had been highlighting this stock during the webinars. And I told everybody when we got this breakdown here, get out, take your profits. My God, this has been an awesome trade. Get out and take your profits. The system didn't. So it gave back a lot of those gains. And you're not even going to see that in our number here. We're up 50% versus minus 12% for buy and hold. And so really nice trade. We're currently on a great short that's up 25 bucks. Netflix, because the option premiums are so high, and Tesla, it's great for selling out of the money credit spreads when you get these signals. Las Vegas Sands, we've looked at. Really nice short. Under Armour, kind of chopping around right now. That's the high flyers symbol group on the website. Incidentally, on the website, you can go through and look at every trade that we've done since inception. There's a back arrow, go back, go back, go back as far as you want. Full disclosure, open book. I'm showing you everything. So I'm not out here hyping and pumping garbage. I mean, this system really works well. Yelp, we're currently short. Gorgeous short in there. Zillow, we looked at earlier. I like this short. So this is one that you should have on your list tonight. So make sure that if you're looking for short trades, I did like those casino stocks, but Zillow also looks like a really nice short, at very least maybe a call credit spread. 3D Systems. By the way, look at the performance here, 88% versus minus 63%. Nice short, starting to come back a little bit on us though. Pandora. Solar City's been just killer good for the system. We're still up a little bit there, and then First Solar. I think some of these solar stocks are bottoming a little bit, and will be bottoming with the energy sector. So they might have a little bit of a dead cat bounce in them. High tech. Here you can see stocks like VMware, just got long today. We're short IBM, short GILD. GILD would be a good short if it breaks that horizontal support level. And you can see we've been short GoPro right in here. That's been a nice trade. And all honesty, we killed GoPro back when it went public, but you can see we're underperforming now because we got caught on a couple of trades. And I've since instituted stops so that a long like that would get stopped out right there. 92, we get out at 72. That was a $20 hit. We would have been stopped out on this trade. So now we have stops working in our favor as well. I don't think I gave GoPro enough time after the IPO to let the system really figure out how to trade it. Apple, currently short Apple. WDC, got a little bit of a short in there. Western Digital had a big day today. Caught a really nice move there. System's done very well with that stock. Texas Instruments. And let's see, we have US index yet to take a look at. Here's all of our Dow. This is another very popular symbol group, Dow. Great trade in there. Just went short today, so we took a hit on that with that big rally. SPY we're short, QQQ we're short. These two will stay in. Dow we're going to get stopped on tomorrow if we don't have a reversal on the open. But overall, US index has done really, really well. We were long, and it also includes IWM, which I'll put up very quickly. Done really well on IWM. Caught that short right in there. And right now, been chopping around a little bit. IWM's not doing much of anything. It's just kind of floating around. Didn't participate in the sell-off or the snapback. And then these are all symbols that for the S&P 500. So I broke them into 10 groups to make it easier to view, but you can click on any one of these and then quickly see what the S&P 500 is doing. I'm almost talked out here, so I'm going to just ask for symbols. And if you don't have any symbols that you want to look at, please type your questions in. Let's see what you got. See if you can help me find a couple of good stocks here. And here they come. All right. And please, just one or two symbols and try and keep it somewhat mainstream, meaning not, some of these esoteric micro cap stocks. CRR, all right. CRR Carbo Ceramics. I know this company. They make propellant for getting oil out of the ground. Um, Pretty nice little rally. This is probably one that you can play for a few days, but I would say that is bound to have maybe a dead cat bounce. Some real fundamental problems with that company. People aren't using the ceramic propellants as much anymore. They're using sand, finding it to be just as effective. Procter & Gamble could be nice on a breakout here. I just want to see it up through that level though. Good liquidity. CME heading into year end, breaking out through horizontal resistance. That looks like a nice trade. Fair option liquidity. You would think with a company like the CME or the CBOE, you would have the best option liquidity on that underlying in the world. You'd force market makers to go in and make a tight market. CME is pretty good, but some of the other exchanges, not so much. Okay, so um, finally, not bad. Coming up on that horizontal resistance. Recent buy today. That's nice. Gets through that horizontal area. PCLN price line. Price line has been on a sell, and we got a long in here and stopped out. So currently not on the last signal is a buy, but it's not going to get back on that buy unless we can get through that 1134 area. So it's going to pretty much, it's not going to capture this bounce in here, but it is on a buy signal. So if you're looking to get long it, the system would agree with you. It's just it issued that buy a while back. Twitter issued a buy here. This stock is selling off. I'm not a fan. Got that horizontal breakdown right there. Until that stock can get above that level, I wouldn't want to touch it. I also think that some of the high PE, high flyer stocks are going to see some selling pressure into year end. And when you get a stock that's been down, 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 you'll get some tax loss selling. USO, this is the oil fund. This has been a really nice short for us. Currently still on that short. Uh, Boy, I can't read that. I think it says JD. If you could, please use caps. My eyesight isn't what it was. So we're going to go with JD and kind of a choppy. Stock's really not doing much. It's on a buy, but it's been flip-flopping back and forth. Not even familiar with that company. Chinese company. GDX. I'm not sure if we just don't have any data for that or if it's waiting to pull in the data. Looks like there's no data for GDX. Not familiar with GDX. Probably would imagine it's some type of maybe gold ETF or something. Halliburton, been on a really nice sell signal in here. Basing, recent buy. Could get a nice little bounce out of this. So it's on a buy. Could be very good. CMG, Chipotle, really choppy. Uh, on a buy, but stopped out. If you get back above this 656 level, the system would agree with you to go long. It's done pretty well. That stock tends to move like the wind. Con, after that earnings drop, it has not issued any signal, so it's waiting. Again, uh, we get out ahead of earnings, really nice long in there. Get out on the earnings, and that is why we get out before earnings. Now, a lot of times when you see the system underperforming buy and hold, it's because the stock has had an incredible gap higher on an earnings announcement, and we didn't participate. Well, that's okay. I don't want the risk. And I know a lot of my customers trade options. I want to make sure that they know there's earnings coming and the system's saying, get out. So that's why I've built that into the system. We're just going to bypass earnings announcements and let the chips fall where they may. Um, can you input your own watch list? That's a good question. Yes, if you have the full 3,000 symbol subscription. As I showed you earlier, you can create it here. If you just have the platform and you want to create your own watch list, absolutely. You would click on lists, you'd click on create, and then you'd enter your own symbols, and then you would see them listed right here. And I've got some other nice lists for you, like liquid options, stocks that have been wild and have, like the volatility is increasing and have options and earnings. Um, Boy, there's so much that I could show you on the platform. You've seen the option pricing. There's something called max pain, which shows you the open interest distribution and the put call ratios. So for con, we were just taking a look at it. See a big spike in the open interest here on the $15 strike. A lot of call buying out there. You can see the distribution of the puts and calls here. You can also go into the puts, the option pricing. The one thing I don't know if you noticed, but when I click on a option price, you can see the option implied volatility versus the historical volatility of the stock. Option statistics, you can go in and see what the put call ratios have been doing on a daily basis, what the option implied volatilities have been doing. This is where my option ratings come from. Uh, Market View has got this table is so powerful down here because you can do a top-down analysis of different groups and sectors. I might as well go in and do it. So you can sort this according to what stocks. Let's look at what the strongest sector has been for the month. Okay, this one's up 0.4%, and that's better than any other. So I can click on healthcare, and I can see that long-term facilities have done better than any other. Hospitals have done well. So let's just click on this, and then there are your stocks in that group, and then you can go back to the chart. And you can bring up the chart, and then you can click on these, and that would be a classic top-down approach to finding companies that you want to invest in. And then you can use our fundamental and technical expert ratings. And in the stock ER page, this is where the technicals come from. This is where the fundamentals come from. About 60 variables go into these calculations, a variety of different weightings. But it helps me when I'm flipping through charts to see how we've rated it technically and fundamentally. Like I say, I could go on for an hour and a half just on the platform. Plus, I didn't mention when you interface with interactive brokers, you can come in and so for instance, let's say that I develop a list like I want to trade the Dow stocks. Let's say I got a $400,000 portfolio. I want to come in, I want to trade the stock, and I want to trade market orders, and I want to trade, let's say, $10,000 per trade, and I'm going to have auto entry, I'm going to have auto exit. Don't even bother me when the stock comes up, trade comes up. This is live. I don't have to touch the order. It's executed exactly per my instructions. Really nice feature. It's going to take you about 2 minutes to log into the platform and to interface with Interactive Brokers each morning, and then you're done. We've made some recent changes to that auto trading that are really nice too, so you can trade it through multiple devices, tablets, phones, laptops, PC, and the system is going to know based on the position at Interactive Brokers, it will get you out of that position. So it's just going to go through and see, oh, we've got to sell on Microsoft. Look, your account's long Microsoft. We're out. Sell them. Or, gee, your long Microsoft calls. Get out. System's going short. Let's see. UNP. Currently short UNP will probably get stopped tomorrow. I do like the rails. I think they've been beaten down because of the oil aspect. IBM short, yes, IBM is a short currently, and it was a short today. And you can see the stock did not rebound. Even with you would expect this stock to rebound on a day when we have a 40-point S&P rally. What do I think of GEVA? I'll put the symbol in, but I've not heard of the company. I like the technicals on it. Our last signal was a short and a stop there. I like the breakout. The only thing missing is a buy signal. System's done well on that stock. Okay, we'll do a few more stock symbols here. Cores. Yes, I'm done taking new symbol requests, so please. Michael Kors, we're on a buy right now. If it gets through this horizontal resistance level and starts filling that gap in right there at 78.60, I think you can get even longer. Cerner. Horizontal breakdown. I like the short as long as it stays below 83 bucks. Excuse me, 63 bucks, $63. ILMN. Currently on a short. It's a pretty nice short entry there. Got to stay below that breakout right there, which it's right about on. So a little bit of a double top in here. So I'd be a little bit more bearish than bullish. BABA. BABA we've done well on. Currently short. Caught a beautiful long right in there. Holy cow, caught that whole move. Okay, so I think I still got a few more symbol requests, but please end the symbol request so I can get to some of the other questions. How much does it risk per trade? The system doesn't decide how much to risk per trade. That's left up to the end user. So a consistent dollar amount is something that I think would be prudent. Or for some people, they like to trade the same number of contracts if they're trading options. But the system's just going to give you the buy or sell signal. So you can decide how much you'd like to allocate and what your risk management profile would be in your account. That's about the only decision making you have to make. Yahoo. Yahoo's currently on a sell signal in here. System hasn't done well on Yahoo, which is interesting to me. Part of it is this gap that we missed right in here. A little surprised at that. GDE, currently earnings release here. No signal yet after earnings. It takes a little bit of time for the system to get on that signal, but I do like that trend line right there. I think the stock in general wants to move higher. You'd like to see it through this level here and through that $90 level. I think you can start to get a little bit more excited about it. Very choppy though. You know, at most, if I looked at this, I'd have to say your best bet would be to sell a put spread below that level. But again, we're missing the buy signal, so wouldn't trade it. We got too many other stocks that look even better with good signals on it. Let's see. I've got a question where you're supposed to trade every green and red arrow because you can miss a lot of the trend and mostly trade SPY. Boy, I'm not sure I understand your question, Lisa. Yes, I do get in and out on the green and red arrows. If I see something that's really chopping around, then I tend to take a pass on the signals and wait for something to move through horizontal support and resistance, like let's say IWM. So let's say you get a short signal on IWM or a long signal. Well, we've been just back and forth going nowhere here. So personally, what I would do is I would say, okay, if you can show me that you can break, you're on a sell signal, you can break that horizontal support, I'm in. I easily take that trade. Or you're on a buy signal, show me that you can get through that 118 level. Then I'll definitely be more interested in the trade. But again, that's when you've got this waffling back and forth. That's how I would trade the system. When you start getting into a signal like this, where we're up, 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 yeah, you get your sell signal there, but I'm really not too interested in that until we can at least get below that point or below some kind of horizontal support level. Then I start getting much more interested in it. Hope I've answered your question. Some stocks, they just don't move with good pace. And quite honestly, as well as the system's done on the Dow, I have it up here and I add these stocks, but some of these like GE, they don't go anywhere. Cisco doesn't go anywhere. It just waffles back and forth, chippy choppy back and forth every day. The best thing you can do is find stocks like Netflix that have really nice pace to them, tend to get into 2 or 3 week moves where you get nice, just rolling moves like this. And to have a list of 10 or 15 or 20 of these, and what's very unique is instead of, and this has been my mindset almost since day one in the business, is look for stocks that have good fundamentals, look for stocks that have good technicals, and trade them that way. The best thing about the system is look for volatility. Look for stocks that might be the next best thing since sliced bread, but trade at high PEs. Why? Because they could run up like mad and then they can fall apart, like a Tesla, like a Netflix, like 3D Systems. These stocks are up 1 minute and they're down the next. And what's nice with a portfolio of 10 or 15 stocks like that is that you're going to be long some stocks at some time and you're going to be short other stocks at the same time, and your market risk is actually reduced, and you can make money on the longs and make money on the shorts. It's just absolutely the best of all worlds, and you're reducing your market risk. So if you can find that honey hole of 10, 15, 20 stocks, then you go in, you create your list, do your automated trading system, and you don't have to look back. Maybe spend an hour or two on a weekend and try to see if you can find some new stocks. You're set. If you're a new trader and you want to keep it simple, what's a good start? ETF trader, gold, bonds, S&P, QQQ. Four underlyings, normally 300 bucks. It's 250 right now. And those trades have been just gangbuster the last 3 months. The system's been just all over it. believe the symbol is UIL. Currently on a buy here, breaking out, looks pretty good. Easy trade. There's your stop right there at 42.42 on a closing basis. So if it continues to push higher, gotta love it. That's a nice looking trade. AB, a little bit choppy. Currently on a sell signal in here. Do you, so for the platform subscription, do you have to set up auto trade with IB? You do have to. That's the only place that I've written into their API. And pretty much wherever you're trading with, you're going to save money by going into trade with IB. Very, very cheap. So when I look at, and I often get the question, oh my gosh, look at all these trades. What about slippage? What about commissions? Well, at IB, I can get in and out for a penny. Okay, even if I'm just trading 200 shares, their minimum I think is $2 ticket. So all I need to do is add the number of trades up. In this case, it's 17. So what it cost me, my commissions are 17 cents. So I can take 17 cents off of my gain here, and that tells me what my P&L is. Now in this case, stock hasn't really gone anywhere, but when you see 40 and 50 and $60 gains and you're taking 17 cents off, who cares? Very negligible. And even their options are 50 cents per contract if you use their smart order routing. So even there, you're in and out for the equivalent of a penny round turn. Very low minimums also. And you get the real-time quotes in here, which is fantastic. And no, I am not, I do not work for IB. It's just, it was the most robust interface that I could write to. And you can trade basically any stock in the world, any currency, have your account denominated in any currency. You can trade futures, which I incidentally do have a futures interface for those of you who trade E-minis. Only for the E-mini S&P though, and it defaults to the front month. So I've already switched this over to March because those are liquid, but super easy to trade E-minis. The 3000 system includes everything. Yes, you are able to auto trade with it. There's no charge for the auto trade. It's just have to have an interactive broker's account. So as long as you have an interactive broker's account, you interface the two, you can auto trade. What is the win-loss? There is no win-loss. There is no P&L because the system works for every stock ETF index. It's a matter of which ones you choose to trade and whether you're trading the underlying stock or whether you're trading the options. So everybody's P&L is going to be different based on how much money they're allocating per trade. But as a rough estimate, you can always go into the website and you can take a look at what some of the different stocks have done and take a look at the performance. So, the performance numbers are available. For some of the stocks that have very, very liquid options, I suggest buying puts and buying calls when premiums are cheap. In other cases like Netflix, I prefer to sell out of the money put credit spreads and out of the money call credit spreads. To me, it's a higher probability of method of trading. So, but that's not to say that buying put options wouldn't work really well also. It would work well. And I'd mentioned 3D systems earlier. You got 88% the systems up versus minus 63 for buy and hold. And even though the stock may not look like a great investment, who cares? You buy it here and you short it there. You make money on both sides of it. So I think I've gotten to the end of the questions, but the 3000 symbol includes every symbol, includes the platform. You can get access to every symbol group that we offer on the website. You're able to create your own list. You're able to auto trade your own list. I do suggest getting an interactive brokers account. It takes a day to set up. You get it funded, and everything will be working. You can have it up and running in probably 2 days, let's say. By the time you get a wire over to them, you probably could even do it same day. So again, our commissions are super reasonable. I think you're going to save money on your trading regardless of who you're using. Are there any other questions tonight? If not, I'm going to conclude the presentation. It will be recorded. And if you would like a copy of the recording, please send me an email at info@oneoption.com. I will gladly forward you a copy in about an hour or so. As you can see, the system just killer good across the board. Obviously, there are a handful of stocks where it doesn't do so well, but for the vast majority of stocks, it's awesome. I really think you're going to enjoy using it. You had your trades, monitor them, keep an eye on them. If you're watching this recording, go back and take a look at those stocks I highlighted and see how they do. Thank you so much. I'll have another webinar in about 2 weeks. If you're not able to attend, happy holidays.